How unity consciousness looks like in 3D. I am of unity consciousness. I always was. I was born that way. But I learned to understand separationism in 3D. What happened all my life was I tried to connect with people and all I came across was people who couldn't connect. I never experienced unity when I was a child within my family, it was all discombobulated. My family was only unified when they were backstabbing the person who wasn't in the room. This was not a united family. Love unites people. This family was not loving. I remember standing in the schoolyard when the kids made fun of the retarded girl in our class. She began spastically flailing at them and they laughed at her even harder. It broke my heart. I have an autistic brother who I watched my father abuse so many times I can't count. He just took it. I remember when another challenged girl flipped out when the grade 5 girls got the talk from the Catex lady, and everyone made fun of her. That kid was right. That was no picnic, Catex, or not. I watched from the side as people got their knives out and stabbed the life out of others who were vulnerable and easy marks. I never was part of that gang. I was always noted for liking the underdog. I hung with the kids who were not predatory and usually these people had big chips off their shoulders but I hung out with them because I could relate to them better. What I've come to realize is that those predatory kids usually suffered as much or worse abuse than I had, and they were just mimicking their parents' treatment of them. They thought it was normal. I knew it wasn't. That was the difference between me and them. You're probably like this too, or you wouldn't be watching this. I remember bawling my eyes out that night when the teacher showed us a film about a farmer blowing up a litter of fox pups. My mother couldn't understand why I was so emotional. I was freaking. No wonder I learned to repress my emotions. I figured I wasn't normal. There was the time in kindergarten that we went on a field trip to a beef slaughterhouse. I was panicking, trying to get out of there as fast as I could. Everyone else seemed to be just watching. I was freaking. Poor little 5-year-old. How many books have we read about the cute cow jumping over the moon and then I got to watch them being killed that day? Were you like that too? You knew you were different and you didn't know why you couldn't be normal like everyone else? So you thought you were screwed up? I was not one of the cool crowd. I was always uncomfortable around people and socializing was hell for me. Why? Because I found people to be very predatory and instead of finding common ground, they would gossip, attack, and backstab. My high school friends weren't really like that either, thank God. There were 2 girls who tried to become part of the in crowd and eventually they went their own way. There were some I found when we started talking about commonalities I got drawn in too fast so that wasn't comfortable for me either. And the friendships started to take on an us against the world mentality. That wasn't what I wanted. I was pretty as a teenager, tall, leggy blonde with blue eyes and a huge smile, so that seemed to open doors for me where my personality was lacking. I was labeled shy and too sensitive. Everywhere I've gone throughout my life I've tried to unite people. My soul wants to do that. And I'm met with behaviors that are in my face, sometimes nasty, and contrary to the way my soul thinks. I've walked alone through my life, understanding that all these separationists I would either have to accept the way they are or leave them behind. Nobody understands here how to unite with others. It's not that hard. But they can't do it. So I've walked my entire life among people, feeling alone. You too? I always thought that it was me and the problem was that I was abused. But now I understand there's more. I have learned to forgive my earth parents. They had no self-control and no power to change themselves. Well, my father tried to later on in life and he did change to some degree. It's easy. All you have to do is do it. That's as easily as I can express it. I go to my neighbors next door and I give them things. Their kids think I'm great because I give them money. I don't do it to butter them up, I do it because they like it. It makes them happy. I like giving things to people and I can hardly stop it. I give them donuts, and they cook meals for me and I cook meals for them. I know they may even be talking about me behind my back, and probably not even nicely, but I still go over there. Why? Because I need to be nice to someone. I need to be loving to somebody, despite the way he particularly has treated me. Does their behavior bother me? Yes, it does. But I don't let it stop me from being me. I have set limits with him, and that is I won't be around him when he's drinking, and I prefer to be with them when she's there as well. I do what I have to do. I believe this is what it takes to embody your soul on this planet. Setting strict limits so you don't experience more trauma, but doing what you want to do because it makes you happy. And overlooking some things. I have to be nice to people who may not even be nice to me. I have to be nice to people who might be taking advantage of my niceness. I have to be kind to people who might think I'm weird. I have to do it because I have to do it. That's unity consciousness. Despite what he's put me through, despite the fact he blew up at me one day and threatened to call the cops on me, I don't hold it against him. I have to be that way with someone, and that's what I realize I've done all my life. I've kept trying to be able to be myself. Maybe you can relate to this. By the way, I believe that people who are spiritual respect their partners. They don't claim to be spiritual and get some side hustles going. I wouldn't fool around on Ivo, even though he's only a disembodied voice to me right now, at least during the daytime. He's definitely more at night. LOL, there's no way. He means everything to me, no man on earth can match him. People act shitty, nasty, you get attacked, you just keep on being nice to them. There may be some who are just too threatening, well, you leave them out of it. I won't be traumatized again, and some days I'm too sick to tolerate even minor annoyances. You just keep trying. You might get whacked in the head again and wonder, what the hell was I thinking? You try to set boundaries. You try to protect yourself, but you leave yourself in a vulnerable position with people because you have to be you. That's the core reason you do it. Because that's who you are, and your need to express that is strong. I know there are people in this community who have issues with me. One guy is really aversive to me. Really bad. But I have to just keep on doing what I'm doing. I have to keep getting the message out. I have to keep making myself vulnerable. Like I said recently, continuing to be a channel for these messages because it's what my soul wants me to do, making myself vulnerable in spite of the constant attacks I get, which frankly, hurt. Why do they hurt me? Because of the division they cause between me and them. Humanity is supposed to be unified and loving each other. Far cry from that on this rock. Some days I give in to it and I withdraw, but I'm back at it again, doing this in any way I can think of. Creating unity in a divisive world. I have been diagnosed as having many forms of anxiety, social anxiety as well as agoraphobia. I still do this work because that's my soul doing it. If it were up to my ego, I'd shut the door and say nobody home. I don't. My soul is leading the show, and she is of unity consciousness. At one point, I went to see a healer who said that I had managed to divert the stream of energy from my crown around my throat chakra so that it was getting little energy. He could see that the stream of energy stuck out from my neck and then reconnected to my heart. I had managed to do that by forcing my throat chakra to close all my life and cutting myself off from my voice. Clearly, I've healed, and this work helps me to keep it open. When people stop talking ego and start talking soul, everything changes. They find their real power. When they stop being predatory and start being more caring, everything changes. When they stop being nasty, people will start loving them more. Unity and connection will occur. I've come here to do that, and I feel that this work is part of that, as well as my future work. I understand how horrifying it can be to feel all alone in a world as a little girl who keeps experiencing constant trauma. There is no one to run to soothe you because they're all the same. The family dog becomes your best friend. She gets you. They don't understand you. They tell you there's something wrong with you. I was one of those kids who loved my teachers. They seemed so sweet and nice, so caring. Except for one or two of them, I'd have made any of them my mother. I desperately wanted someone I could connect to with love. I had to wait 55 years to find him. I hope I'm the voice for you lonely souls who have a vision for this planet. You're not alone. With love. Sheran.